What?
Oh shit, we're there. This one is actually specific to episode number 22 in the second season of
Episode 98
Look, just because I know this.
with the alternate covers.
Yes, just because you know it. You feel the need to correct people about it.
Shut up.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Woohoo!
Welcome back to Come and Brew It Radio, coming to you from Texas Brewing Inc. in Haltom City, Texas. You can find us on the web at txbrewing.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and share with all your friends.
In this episode, we discuss BJCP style category 8B, Schwarzbier, and discuss a few examples that we can get locally. It's a quaffable dark style with a light enough body and flavor character that it's easy to drink year-round, but it's always great as we move into the cooler months of the year. We'll also hear a little bit about Stubby's recent trip to Germany and do some side-by-side comparisons of German-brewed beer bought in Germany with the same beer bought here to see what differences we might notice.
But before we get started, please be sure to check out our Patreon account to help support the show. Every little bit counts, and if you visit patreon.com/Come and Brew It Radio, we have a variety of options for you to help keep the show going, get involved, and improve it. Also, every live show will have a giveaway to all our patrons, and at the end of each month, we'll be doing a monthly product giveaway on all our $5, $10, and $20 patrons. I'm Greg.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Michael.
I'm Mikey B.
I'm Stubby.
Thanks for listening.
Woo! You know, if we're going to be that good, it hardly seems fair to give this away for free anymore. is
I
what
know,
I'm saying,
right?
You know,
I think
When
you're right.
You
I think
reach a
you're right.
certain level of perfection, and it's almost like an insult.
Do you remember it used
Were
to
this
take
good?
Remember it used to take us an hour to do the
Right.
the intro before
That
we
was
actually
before I
went
got
live.
here.
Just the
Yeah.
intro.
And then
Yeah,
I
just the intro.
smoothed it all out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that on my first episode. You guys were like,
start
"All right,
over."
Be prepared. It's going to take us forever to get this intro recorded."
It's like, you just have to read it. No, I don't. I don't want to. Start over.
I think the writing has improved a little bit, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
It's almost exactly the same.
Shots have been fired.
I know.
over.
I mean my lines are the same all the time, so it's pretty easy for me.
No, that's not true. It used to say coming to you live. We dropped the live.
Oh, we're not live anymore.
No, we are, but we're just not advertising it.
Oh, okay. We're
I don't
actually
know.
we actually are live now.
We were live at the time.
In case we're not live.
We aren't live now. Live now. Right?
Yeah,
I sure hope so.
we're totes
I
live.
don't even remember having live in there.
So, and then
'Cause
also
I haven't
we,
changed
we,
that any time.
we all
recently,
braved the
so-
great deluge to get down here tonight too. I took an arc here.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it
You know,
rained.
Live was a great band in the
Were
90s.
there two of you on
No,
there?
it wasn't.
Lightning crashes. I love
incorrect.
lightning crashes.
That happened also. Yeah.
Exactly. That's going on probably outside right now.
Right. I don't know if we're going to be able to leave tonight. I don't know if Ubers are still going to be driving around.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, we might be sleeping here.
It's
You
going
can
to
call
get
the
weird.
You can call
too.
the Cajun
That'd be
Army.
We got all these cans with the openings on the you know.
Yeah, you call
How many
Uber.
do we have enough for one for everybody? I don't want to share.
Now someone's going to be left
See,
out.
nobody
We've only
knows
got
what you're
6.
talking about, Brandon, but
No,
I know what you're talking about.
It's better that way.
So,
It's
yeah.
better that way.
Yeah, it's just
Totally
raining
better
its
way.
ass off. I think we're getting residual rain from the hurricanes, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a lot of rain though.
A lot of rain, man.
So
yeah.
at any rate, let's get into some recent happenings here.
So what are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
recent
I
happenings.
wasn't sure if there was.
Wait, but you were telling me all about this cool article, but I didn't get to read.
Oh, the article.
oh
It's
man,
great.
the article is my favorite.
First, though,
Yes.
we have to give a shout out to Matthew MacArthur. We appreciate your comment that you sent in.
In my opinion, the best email we've ever received.
Yeah, it's
You know,
he gave us
Matthew
great
MacArthur.
praise.
Yeah.
And then he
right.
also wanted to make sure he had a message for Nigel, saying that he used to be one of his favorite members of the podcast, but since Matthew is quarter Scottish and from Little Rock, he may have to kick him in his vanilla vagina.
I feel totally vindicated. By the way, thank you, Matthew. We appreciate that.
That one's for Nigel, who's not with us tonight. He's in England right now. So,
But his ears just got really red right now, and he doesn't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't really get it.
Well, evidently he's getting some. He's been doing lots of interviews with different brewers over there on campus
Yeah,
beer,
nice.
so
yeah.
that should be interesting
feedback when he gets back, or when he gets back.
Yeah, he's doing lots of stuff on cast scale and that kind of thing, which I think will be really interesting.
Yeah, he's
to talk
got
about.
over an hour of video with
Yeah.
the president of the association. Camera
Awesome.
or whatever.
Oh, he's actually the president of the cameras.
I think
Okay.
so. That's what
Wow,
he said.
that's-
He said he was meeting with him.
Oh, that should be really cool then. That should be real awesome. So
Camera? Is it
let's
camera?
I think
Camera.
I hadn't even looked at the outline.
Camera.
So,
Camera.
Give me.
or read the article.
All right. Also, congrats to our shop foreman around here. I guess you'd call him Austin
Oh,
and his
yeah,
wife
Austin,
Amy
yeah.
on their new
Yeah,
Yes.
congratulations.
their new baby.
Beautiful
New
baby
roommates.
girl.
Everybody's healthy and happy, and we're all very happy for
The
them.
new roommate, Star
the
Sand.
new roommate, yeah, Star
Star
Sand.
San Jones.
Star Sand Jones.
Man, it has a great ring to it. I love it. Who's going to inform them of the new name?
I've already told him. Yeah.
Have you? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
good.
Amy liked it.
How did it went well then?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
She actually
good.
chose that one.
Then I can start putting that on social media then
You
as
can.
they post
Yeah,
pictures.
absolutely.
Okay.
Star
All right.
San, yeah.
Perfect.
Hey, and I got to give it up to Austin. You know, the baby's like 9-10 days old and was already in the shop today. So he's already teaching her well, already teaching her the home
Is
brew.
she taller than Austin yet?
Almost.
She
We're really
looks
close.
exactly like him. That baby looks just like Austin.
True story.
It's
Yes.
sad.
Yeah, he's gonna-
Or Austin looks like an infant baby. One way or
Yeah,
the other.
well,
With
there
a
might be
beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a beard. Yeah.
some from column A and some from
Our
column
little
B on that
leprechaun's
one.
a father.
Put a baby on Star Sand and they look identical.
All right. So what else we got here?
So there was an article that popped up today that was maybe one of my favorite homebrew related things that just popped up. Is a recent inspection of a pharmaceutical laboratory. It's called Pharmaceutical Laboratories and Consultants Inc. in Addison, Illinois, which is a company that tests over-the-counter drugs. The FDA came in and found brewing supplies casually mixed in with equipment to evaluate over-the-counter drug products, and in one instance, the facility had stored beer in a fermenter and had stored a beer fermenter and created a workspace for a brewery employee preparing kegs, all within 10 feet of an area where microbiological material is kept. My favorite part of this story. So
is the
basically,
best.
these guys all worked in a lab that tested over-the-counter drugs, and they had just brewed. They'd been brewing at work, and they had all their brewing shit all mixed in, just like at home with all of us, where you go in the fridge to get whatever, and there's a yeast starter in there or something like that. It was like that in a lab. But the best part, my favorite thing, was that they had been cited for this 4 times before. Once in 2007, once in 2009, once in 2012, and once in 2014.
For over a decade. The shit's
They've been doing this.
Wow.
Over
Getting in
and over
trouble.
again.
For over a
Like,
decade.
you can't do this. Oh, okay, we'll clean this up.
Evidently,
you
they
think
make
it's been
enough
enough
money.
time?
They don't care.
Well, what I want to know is what is their standard time that they wait before they start again? Because now they've got to have a system in place. The 5th time,
Clearly, I mean, it's like every 2 to 3 years they get busted,
Right.
and then they start back up again.
Well, so then the real question is: are they brewing for those 2 years, or
right? That's what I
or,
want.
or are they taking a
do they
6-month
wait
break?
like 2
and-
weeks, or do they wait a year? Or
Like, how often is the inspection? Is it timed out that they're like,
yeah,
F
that's
it.
the other thing. Does the FDA inspector only come by every 3 or 4 years? Or
Like,
is
shit,
it
we
like
forgot.
every year? And most of the time they're like, he's here, stash it, get it out of the way. And they hide it successfully.
Drink it real fast.
But these 5 times,
Flush it.
They
Flush
got-
it
they
down
got
the
caught.
canal.
fall asleep at the wheel, yeah.
I think my favorite part of it is the casually mixed in with equipment.
Right.
Casually.
Like, oh shit, he's coming. Put that yeast starter on the counter. They won't know what's going on.
Yeah. Laboratory test media, open beer bottles, and brewing materials were commingled within the same refrigerator. In a warning letter that they sent on September 13th. A warning letter. The 5th time they've caught him doing this, and they sent them a warning letter about it.
Well, it must not be that big of a deal.
I guess not. Yeah.
I mean,
I
open
wonder
beer.
how they're
with-
testing their pharmaceuticals. Yeah.
This is how
Yeah, that's
penicillin
true,
was
huh?
discovered,
Hey,
though,
man,
right? Wasn't it?
Hey, pass me one of those Vicodins.
Hey, was this place called Martin House Grilly? No?
I got such a kick out of that story. I can just picture the guys in there.
Martin Skrelly House, maybe?
Well, that they already have the equipment. You know, some of the laboratory
Right,
stuff.
you know, stir
they have
plate, you know?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
easy access to it.
Centrifuge.
It was funny in the Reddit like posts that I found this in, there was people that were commenting on it. One guy says, I work in a laboratory and I have always wanted to do this because we've got everything. As much hose as you want to have, programmable refrigerators.
Yo, man, they got hose up
stir
in there?
plates, beakers, everything. They got hose.
They got all the hose.
They got hose in several area codes.
Think about it, man. You got slats and freaking
Right.
petri dishes.
Everything.
You can culture your own yeast.
Slats and hose, man. That sounds my kind of party.
These guys were like, let's do it, man. And then they get caught and they're like,
And then
"Let's
they
do it
got caught again.
And then they get caught and,
And
they're
then
like,
they got again.
I think we could probably avoid it now that we know what's going to happen. And then they get caught again. And they're like, all right, Eric, you have got to let us know when you see him coming through the door. All right? And then they get caught
No.
again.
Well, looking at it though, 2014. So I mean, they went 4 years.
4 years,
Hey,
yeah.
that's
That's-
that's
yeah.
better than they had
It's
previously.
pretty
done.
good. Yeah, they set a record. I think maybe they call that a victory.
Well, and just a warning label, a warning letter.
Right,
You
right.
know, I mean, a slap on the wrist.
You guys.
Don't do this again, or
Stop-
we'll warn you.
Stop
Why
brewing in the
I
lab.
The FDA gave him a why I oughta 5 times.
I don't know. The Safe LO5 goes really well with my antidepressants, so it's
You just sprinkle a little on your tongue.
It's
And,
just, it complements it very well.
Oh, wow.
Burp
So
a
should
lot
we even
later.
talk about this one?
yeah.
Next
So
one.
if
Yeah,
you're
this-
listening to the
this
show
next
in the
one.
car with your kids,
Might want to turn it down.
Turn it down.
first of all, you're a bad parent.
Cooper, do not be listening to the next little segment.
But second of all, you might want to skip this section here because we can't not talk about this one. I don't think.
It's too good to not mention.
Yeah, so an Australian brewery recently, and we've heard breweries do this several times over the past few years, where they put out some ill-advised name, and everybody gets mad about it. And
they
then
sneak
this
it
is-
through their label approval, and then it just explodes.
Now this one was not.
Like our vanilla
This one was
vagina kit that's
completely
coming
intentional.
out.
So basically, this Australian brewery, whenever anybody works there for a year on their year anniversary, they brew a tribute beer to them, and they name it something that's related to them. And so they had a female employee that was at her year anniversary, and they decided to brew a tribute beer to her named Pussy Juice, dedicated to
Tribute.
the girl that runs
Thanks,
their
sir.
bar. And
Sounds
along,
like a great tribute.
Wow.
I mean,
along with
She's
the
friendly.
release of this beer, they wrote a poem to go on their social media post with the release of this beer. And here's the poem. It says, wet and ready right in front of you, a ripe and juicy peach. And you know you could taste it all if you had the balls to reach. Take it roughly in your hand and tear away the seal. Lap the liquid lustily while devouring your last meal. Wow. Press your face towards the opening as you drink the goodness in. Tilt your head back just a little now. It's dripping down your chin. So good it must be heaven as you shed one single tear. Get your mind out of the gutter, boys. It's just a can of beer. And
hell it
needless
is.
to say, it did
That's
not go well
beautiful.
for them on
Really
social
good.
media.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful, though.
So
it's art, man.
The
It's
pros.
I really wonder what people are thinking when they do this, and they put this out on social media. It's not like it was a tap room
Well, and
release
it's
or
and it's
something.
not just a one-off thing. I mean, they wrote this whole poem, so I mean,
Right.
there wasn't just somebody got drunk and posted some shit. No, this is like a
no,
full,
this
like,
was a full thought out
Yeah,
thing.
you had to
like-
muse. You had to muse over the rhyme there. a
it's
little bit.
marketing genius.
I think so too.
Yeah.
we
Yes.
wouldn't be talking about
It's
it if not.
so
yeah.
shocking that we're talking about their brewery halfway around the world.
Yeah. And now have you guys seen Brash? Is it Brash Brewery in Houston?
Brash.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Austin.
With
Austin.
Pussy Wagon.
Yeah, I mean they've got it's so many F words and just I mean they don't care.
It's a brew pub, right?
I've
Yeah,
never
because
been
you
there.
can
Never
never
get
actually.
label approval. On
I
it.
just
At a brew
discovered
pub,
them.
you can do whatever you
Well,
want.
But they've
Little
got like a
packaging,
pentagram, on their
Yeah. It's an
Facebook
anarchy.
and
It's anarchy.
But
It's all on
you
the
can
can.
get their stuff up here. I mean, I've had Pussy Wagon on tap before,
Oh really?
and
All
it's
right.
it's a pretty
Well, they
decent
package
IPA.
for
Well,
a
now
long
brew
time.
pubs can distribute some of that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Before they
yeah.
came to Texas, they packaged for a long time. You could buy their bottles up here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Colorado and whatnot. So.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
They have good beer. They make good
Well, that
beer.
kind of reminds me of them. Is all I'm saying. Is that whole kind of motif there with the poem about juices dripping down your chin. For
Well, if you
Christ's
think
sake.
about
just-
that, these guys are probably not one, but like gypsy breweries, they get away with a lot of shit. McKellar, they've done some
Yeah.
weird shit too, and they get away with it. And Brash and McKellar are similar in terms, but now Brash actually, I think, is more settled down. But then,
Yeah, I think they
oh,
just
I don't know
want to
about
offend
settling
people.
that, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Brash.
Well, and that's kind of before the show we were talking about some of the Rogue where they use the brewer's beard and brewer's yeast or whatever it was. So, Yeah, I mean, people do this, like, the vagina culture that they used for the yeast. Another brewery.
Is that the female vagina?
Well,
Adam?
maybe. I don't know.
Dude,
Yeah, I remember
that was only a 150 episode ago callback. Maybe not.
Well, it
150.
used to be written on a whiteboard in the hallway here, though. So I mean, I think it was on like a to-do list or something like that up on the wall, if I remember right.
I mean, personally, I've wanted to make a breast milk stout, so I mean that's just me. I mean, it's just me. I don't know.
Austin might be. Amy
call
might be able
Amy.
to help you out. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Hey,
thing
Austin,
about
if
that
you're
is that
listening,
breast,
don't tell Amy what it's for. Just bring it.
Yeah, just steal a bottle out
Just
of the
bring
fridge.
it.
Breast milk tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, though, so that would be weird.
Well, what if you're making a horchata ale or something?
There you go. It would work well for that.
You could spell it W-H-O-R-E chata.
Oh. See, over the line. That's right there with pussy juice now. No, yeah.
I know. I'm thinking outside the box.
There we go.
Emphasis on the
Yeah, the
box.
box.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna have to put the parental advisory on this one.
Yeah, well.
Hey, we warned them.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
just started early tonight. That's all.
Yeah.
It's just locker room talk. Just locker room talk. Yeah.
So anyway, those two stories I thought were too amusing not to talk about.
Those are pretty amusing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was amused. We were amused.
We were all
Good
amused.
times.
Yeah.
They were the best
And
out of
evidently the
shares.
people in
It was the best of
Australia
times.
were aroused. So.
I think so, yeah.
We were
All right.
amused. They were aroused. Yeah.
So beer work anybody did this week? I haven't done. The only beer work I've done is drink a lot of beer in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I've been
me
on the
too.
There
road
you
a
go.
lot.
I delivered a lot of stuff to a lot of breweries.
I gotta throw a shout out to a brewery in Bossier City, Louisiana, because I was in Shreveport working a show, and I was really looking forward to going to Great Raft. We talked about that on the last show, and
Actually
they
had
were
some of their beer
remodeling. They have great beer. I love their beer, and they were remodeling their tap room, so I couldn't go. So I went to a place I had been to before, which is right across the river in Bossier City, called Flying Heart, and
Flying fart.
Flying Fart, yeah.
You don't give any.
Flying Heart Brewing. It's a
Oh,
brew
I'm
pub
sorry.
in Bossier City, and was really impressed with their beers. I had been there a few years before when they were still a little newer, and there was a couple of bright spots in there and a couple of weak spots. And this time I went, and I think I had 6 or 8 different beers that I thought were all really good. So if you find yourself, if you're unlucky enough to find yourself in Shreveport, Bossier City, there's 2 breweries to go
Hey,
to.
man,
There's
you got
Great
the
Raft.
boats, dude.
Are the boats still big over there? I mean, I know everybody here now goes to Oklahoma, just because it's closer. So
Like
boats.
they can't.
Are the boats large, or
gambling.
are they
well, I mean,
popular?
well, are they still popular? I guess.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
you
I
get-
saw some.
They give you free alcohol there. They don't.
Well, they don't. Yeah, exactly.
in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
They give you
Windstar-
free alcohol in Oklahoma?
No,
they don't.
Windstar, it's like Pepsi, and it's like self-serve Pepsi
No,
too.
'cause I was
they
gonna
give you
say
free cigarettes.
That's basically beer in Oklahoma. Is
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
getting Pepsi.
Like what comes in the Happy Meals in Oklahoma? Free cigarettes. Oh, free cigarettes.
Oh, man, I'm gonna get
All the
blamed for that.
females-
I hope you know that.
all the
That's
females
why
get
y'all
a pack
feel-
of Newports.
That's why y'all feel the so comfortable saying that, because you know I'm gonna get blamed for it, right?
Yeah, you've opened up a new world to all of us.
So beer. That was my beer
It's
work
kinda
that
like
I
Trump, you know.
Uh-oh,
Brandon's
uh-oh,
the
here
Trump.
we
you
go.
know? We just throw everything on him.
Yeah, I transferred I did a brute IPA, and I transferred it to secondary.
Ooh, brewed
Finished
IPA.
at a .994.
Ooh,
so
really?
I,
Wow.
I got the dryness I was looking
super
for.
dry.
So
And
we'll
that was
see.
just with 05.
No, actually, I used hothead
Oh, okay, but you hadn't put the.
and the
You
inside.
did.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
you-
did.
enzyme?
You said it was pretty low even before that.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember what it was before that, but it was pretty low. And then I added the enzyme, and like I said, it brought it down to a .994. So, but
He was like a 1.02 or 10.02 before the amylase.
yeah.
We all got to try that because I read
Yeah,
an
so
article
I-
about trying it in the mash versus in the fermenter, and you might get some different results out of
Yes,
that. You know,
that's-
definitely want to.
And that's kind of what I read is, with putting it in the fermenter, you got it to drop lower.
Right.
It typically,
That
is
It'll
what
go
I-
out
I
of
see
out of
what I
bounds.
learned.
Yeah.
Well, let's just preface that by let's do a show on it, and we'll do some experiments.
Do you have any of that?
Yeah, we've got some.
We have some at the shop.
experiments going.
Okay.
Kvike,
I didn't know
yeah.
if we not that I'm talking about the
No, but
what is it?
The
Amylase.
Amylase. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
was
you know,
in-
kind of
Whatever
like
it's
what
called.
we did with the Golden Ale. Let's do it with the Brute IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the list. Right next up, we have the Omega Kvikes.
I will not be
I did the,
participating in that experiment because I don't like brewed IPAs.
I haven't had one yet.
Well, you could make
The
a good
ones-
one
the
though.
ones
That's
that we've
that's
had,
the thing.
yeah,
They've
I've
not
had
been
those,
good.
yeah.
I'm not a fan. So
I haven't
far.
had one that tastes the same as the next one at all.
Well, that's true.
No, exactly. I had one from Turning Point
Yeah.
a week ago, and theirs to me hit the mark as best I've had so far. It had the dryness, it had the juicy citrus that you would expect, or
But it was also a hazy version
Was it
with a lot of
crushable?
mouthfeel. I think that I don't know if the
yeah.
clear
It
crisp
wasn't as
version would
clear,
have,
exactly.
You know,
No
so-
crushable.
And the other ones I had had the clarity, but didn't have the dryness.
right.
So I've yet to have one that hits what in my mind, hits the mark.
We had one
Well,
in Portland. That one to me tasted just like a West Coast. I didn't
I had
notice
a couple
anything
there.
different.
They were like there was no middle to them. It was
just
like
alcohol.
bitter up front and alcohol on the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you drop, I mean, you're intentionally dropping all of the malt out of the middle, and I just don't care for that.
Yeah. Well, and so I think that's ultimately the biggest problem with that style is how do you balance that?
Right.
That
How do you
dryness
balance
and-
it? Yeah.
Because I think if you don't have
10
any
IBU.
if you don't have any kind of residual sweetness, I mean you're not gonna. I mean
Yeah,
you're not gonna
Hop
have any
Fusion
body.
did the Brute
The platinum blonde.
their platinum blonde, and that worked fairly well, I think. But
It
because
still
you
was
had
a-
that kind of backbone to it, it wouldn't. It's not all that hot.
I
presence.
agree. I thought that was pretty good. However, to me, it was still hot like alcohol.
Oh,
You know, it was just
it was
like-
definitely.
I mean, you
it had
get
a kick to
you
it.
get the burn, from the alcohol because the alcohol is so present.
And
Right.
talking to Macy
So-
about it, he said, after a couple of weeks before that, before it conditioned for a while, it was super hot and boozy. So
yeah. Interesting.
Well, everything they do is they start at like 6.5%.
No, I was there Wednesday. They have a Mexican lager that's like 5.7.
That Mexican lager's good.
Oh, that
It
Mexican
is.
lager,
Yeah,
you can
really good.
Yeah, you can pound that thing.
Speaking of the Kvikes, I did the double IPA for the boss just to pitch on the yeast cake and see what happened from the previous experiment. So I've got a porter, I've got an IPA, I've got some controls for those, and then I also have 2 double IPAs, one with boss and one of that. And then
for you guys out there that are not familiar with this particular yeast strain that we're going to be talking about, it's a Norwegian yeast strain
Yeah.
that they've had for forever, right?
yeah, it's farmhouse.
We
Yeah,
talked.
the
We
Kvik.
talked about.
They're-
it a
they're
bit on the last
commercializing
episode.
it,
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Because
But,
we've all got some Kvik experiments going. I've got an imperial stout.
And that's the way you're
You've got
supposed
a
to say
stout
it.
too.
We've got
Kvik?
Kvik,
6
yeah,
or
that's
7 going now, I think.
Ooh, that's a dangerous word there. you gotta hit that V, dude.
It says its temperature range is 68 to 98.
Yeah.
So, and it's an alcohol tolerance of 12%.
Yeah, my imperial stout. I hit it with like one of those laser thermometers, infrared thermometers, while it was fermenting, and it was a pretty steady 79. So I'm
I had 80s.
I'm thinking that's good.
80 to 85 range all week. I'll tell you one thing: the hothead. If you have a lot of that in there, be careful. You have highly fermentable wort, and then that together, dude, that shit went crazy. And
Yeah,
6
that
hours
surprised me.
later, it was blasting out of the fermenter.
So
Wow.
we're
Nice.
kind of talking about future show. Is that when we're going to have?
It's in
the guy-
October. Yeah, we're
the
gonna have a
guys-
call with Omega.
Yeah.
and,
Awesome. That'd be
the
great.
Founders.
God,
So.
I need to brew that this weekend.
Oh, is
Oh,
that
yeah.
in October? That's perfect.
October
Mine will be
12th.
done pretty
You know
soon.
what might
so.
be interesting is maybe if we can get him, we'll send him a couple samples. That might be kind of fun.
We have it done by then. All of it done.
And then he can drink them and see what he thinks too. I mean, might be kind
Mine's
of fun.
going to end up a coffee stout, I think.
Sorry.
So.
I'm going to brew like a blonde ale.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Something fun.
it.
pretty cool stuff. So
Cool.
anyway, I know that you guys wanted to talk a little bit. Oh yeah.
Just let it happen.
No one
let
asked
it
for our opinion, but we're giving it anyway. It's time for unsolicited answers to internet questions.
It was next on the charts.
Yeah, no, your timing
You're
was
right.
perfect. It was
Yeah.
great.
So tonight for Stubby's tip, it's just going to be a little tease.
That's the wrong thing.
Yeah,
That's
we're not
the
talking
next
about that.
segment, Stubby.
That's
Oh,
the next
we're
segment,
not?
Stubby.
Oh, never mind.
See, he's even
Stubby's not
changing his
checking out the
keys.
outline.
It's so freaking loud that I had
All right.
to take my
Okay,
headphones off.
everybody. Everybody, just pause for a second. Okay,
Okay.
you're good. All right. We're just gonna reboot noise.
No one asked for our opinion.
Listen,
but
Stubby,
we're
listen.
giving it anyway. It's time for unsolicited answers to internet questions.
I thought it was.
There we go.
Okay.
It's not time
Gold.
for just the
It's
tip.
gold. It's creepy, but also inviting. Like you want to look, but you're not sure. But you want to know, but you're good.
Kind of like this podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what we aim
that's
for.
Exactly right.
That's exactly what we aim for.
All right. So this question is brewing with year-old cracked grain. I've got some grain for a brown ale that's been sitting around for about a year that just kept getting pushed back to the back burner. I'm going to use it regardless of feedback. Worst case scenario, the beer sucks, but I have a good time brewing. Okay. But I'm just curious what off flavors or problems I should expect, if any.
This one I thought was a good choice because I
It
know
is a
how
good
many
choice.
people have had a lot of batches that sat around. Like that double IPA, it sat there for 2 weeks, and I was already like, damn it, this has to get into the mash tun, you know, because I think you face a lot of different issues when you have this. Like, how was the grain stored? You know, was it just in a bag that wasn't vacuum
That's a good
sealed?
point.
Was it,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on there? Because it's already going to be milled based off this kind of thing. You know, if it were whole grain, it wouldn't matter. But
So my personal experience with grain that's been sitting around a while that's already been milled is that your efficiency is terrible.
yeah, well, it dries the moisture out of it.
And
So-
I think it oxidizes it somehow
Yeah.
too. I'm not sure of all the science to it exactly, but I've done it more than once, and I'm generally getting like 60% efficiency out of it.
If not more, it could be even worse.
Yeah,
than
it
that. Like
could-
a
I'm sure
year
it could
old,
be
this
even
guy
worse.
probably made a mild.
Yeah,
If he was
probably.
trying to make a
Yeah,
brown
yeah.
ale
Yeah,
at
you're
like
probably right.
5-6%, it probably
Yeah.
came out as a light mild, you know. So, and that's, I think that would be what his main issue, if he came in and ran into anything, it would be the fact that this beer is going to come out way under what you expect it to be, and all levels, pretty much. You're just not going
Yeah.
to pull what you expect out of that.
Now,
if at
when
all.
I've done it and I've had low efficiency and it's just come out a smaller beer than I expected, I didn't have any off flavors or anything like that from it. I actually made a couple good beers like that. It's just, I just kind of went into it knowing, all right, I'm going to have to make some adjustments on the fly
Right.
because I think my efficiency is going to be bad, and it was. I've also heard people say that they've done it and their efficiency was fine, but that's just been my experience is that it consistently been bad efficiency.
If you look at Breeze's website, they actually talk about that it's okay up to 6 months. But
Yeah, I don't. That's not been my experience.
well, I mean, I'm just talking out my ass. I don't know for sure, but you would think that would have an effect on the enzymatic activity, and maybe that's why you're getting low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting low.
It's
Because, you know,
it's drying way out.
Around here, we have people pulling grain bills when it gets busy. Occasionally, mistakes are made, and we end up with these mistake bags that they sit there or whatever. And I think 2 or 3 times I've taken them home, and I know they've been sitting there for a while. And every single time I've done it, I've
What do
had
you
low
name
efficiency.
those? Mistake.
Mistake one.
name of the
Mistake two.
Oh, I don't. There's
Epic
not
fail
one
ale.
particular
You know that?
name.
Chanel number 9.
We should save some of those. That alone could be a show.
Mistake.
Whatever we're going to do with a bunch
yeah.
of mistake
Mistake?
beers, yeah.
No.
Mistake bags of.
That was a
Mama always told me
mistakes.
I was a mistake.
That was old Jim Varney reference.
Oh, Jim Varney.
See,
right?
I actually
You know what I mean?
Nice.
Ooh, we've
Know what I
gone
mean, know what I mean?
transcendent.
I actually took two of the bags of grain home.
Yeah.
But again, it sat for since I took it home, it sat for 2 months.
Yeah.
So it's one of those I plan on doing a barley wine, but I'm using 3-4 month old, or by the time I brew it, 3 or 4 month old milled grain. So I'll keep
Right.
in mind I am going to add some fresh
Yeah,
base
that's what
malt,
you. Yeah,
so-
there you go. Or just get another broken down mix up bag and add that in there too, and you'll just have what you need. So that's-
Well, I'm already pushing my mash tun.
yeah.
A beersmith tells me I need like a 12-gallon mash tun, and I don't have that. So I'm already pushing it. Going to be pushing it
Right.
for this barley wine, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's just the thing. I think that's how you would fix it anytime is to add some fresh grain to it, or actually have some malt extract around.
Or do you just,
DME, yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you just try to like boil longer and get a
Yeah, you can do
more of
that.
a
You
can do that,
concentrated
too.
wort and then
Smaller batch,
and then
yeah.
smaller batch.
Yeah. But it's simple solutions, but I know a lot of people have that happen
Pour
where
a
they
lot
just
of
can't
sugar in
brew,
it.
Yeah, I
and
was
they've
gonna
only
say.
got
Add some cane sugar.
a bag that's been tied. It's not nothing else. It's not vacuum sealed, because vacuum sealed bags should handle it and be
Right.
okay
Yeah.
for
You
quite
would
a
think
while.
so.
So
And that's one of the reasons that we do that. If you guys buy from us online, we try to vacuum seal it, just so to ensure your freshness,
Right.
just like it's fresh cracked grain. So that's just one of those other little extra things that we try to do at the store to make sure that you get the best ingredients possible.
exactly.
Sure enough.
See, my biggest problem with this whole Reddit question is, worst case scenario, the beer sucks, but I had a good time brewing. Bullshit! I don't get to brew enough.
Yeah, that's what stuck out
to
to
do
me.
a bad batch. I mean, it's one of those. No, that's 4 to 6 hours.
I don't have
of
a
my
good time when it's a shit beer.
Exactly.
I have a bad time then. Yeah.
Don't talk about that. That's the next thing they're going to be making.
Shit beer.
Poopy beer.
Sewage water beer is already happening.
A Dookie Vites.
It's so brown and murky. This one has chunks.
He must have ate.
Is that corn?
It has chunks. Oh,
Is that
man.
corn? What is
Is there
that?
corn in my beer?
It's to try to make a beer that looks like you just dipped it out of the toilet.
I call this flocculate.
After tacos,
Well, you know they did have that one. What was
Corn
that one?
and peanut stout.
That
They have a corn dog ale this year at the state fair, I think.
I've
Don't
seen
they?
that. Yeah.
yeah, I bet that's got some nice head.
hot dog flavored
Don't-
beer.
So
Mustard
wasn't
rim.
that one beer that we drank? It was called the Brown Note or whatever.
Yeah. I've got
Oh,
the
yeah.
Brown Note a couple of
Yeah.
times. Yeah,
Brown ale.
that's a great beer, American Brown.
Hell of a packaging concept for that
Yeah,
one.
I don't know how the hell they ever got label approval.
Yeah,
on
so
that thing.
evidently I heard that on one of the deals they were doing, they had what do they call them? The Randall, and they had a pair of whitey tidies in it, and they were running it through there. Yeah.
Was that at Martin House?
No, it's the Brown Note.
Oh,
Who makes that beer?
I don't remember. I get it in Kansas City. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
think
where
it's a
we-
Midwest
It's got like
brewery.
a dude that's sitting in his whitey tidies. It looks like he got a
Stains. Yeah.
But-
And
Yeah,
then
he
throwing it in the
definitely
Randall.
sharded.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's sharded, yeah.
Yeah.
So isn't that what a Brown Note is? It's like supposedly it's this note that makes you poop
Yeah,
your
that makes you
pants.
poop
Yeah,
your pants.
yeah.
Uncontrollable bowel
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay,
frequency that
nice.
supposedly
Dumping
makes your
syndrome.
bowels release.
That's what you should name your beer after. Evidently, you can call
Do
it.
we want to answer this question on Facebook there that you just showed me? or-
I haven't
He said
seen it
he
yet.
said he said that his
I think you should.
he said his DME is sweating. God, I hope not, because you're screwed, buddy. Because it's going to be as hard as a rock.
Maybe this is like the first Star Trek movie, and you got to wipe off some of the letters to read
Tony,
the whole thing, and it
yeah.
says dynamite. Actually,
Tony, did you
and
mean it was really
in that case,
the bag
run.
is sweating?
Run.
I don't know, but
Got a
anyway.
sweaty bag.
Your sack is sweaty, huh?
The best way to store it is
like a
to
fruit
vacuum
roll-up
seal it
stuck
if you
to my
can.
leg.
If you have a vacuum sealer, make sure to try to get
Think
it
about V'ger, dude.
because that stuff is uber sensitive to any kind of moisture at all. It'll be hard as a brick.
Yeah,
So
and it takes forever to dissolve it once it hardens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you might as
be
well just
chipping
throw it
at it
away.
with chisel.
I think we hear people judging in the background. That's what it is. I
Oh,
keep
is that
hearing
what that
people.
is?
Yeah.
Oh,
kinda
you know
hear
what?
it.
Oh,
You're
Yeah, so-
right.
Yeah,
so we got-
Judgmental F's.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
judging them.
So we have people doing some beer judging in the background over here. They're judging for Ozapt Is, which is all German beer competition, which we're going to be drinking some German beers tonight. So
And
I
tomorrow.
already am.
and tomorrow.
Should
Yeah,
we?
if you're listening and you're in the local area, go to the TMP
Yeah,
Tavern
TMP
tomorrow
Tavern,
for
yeah.
the Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah.
It's a great day.
Great day,
Great
yes.
event.
Should we sneak a covert microphone out there and see what how the judging's going?
That might
think
be
that-
extraordinarily boring.
Okay.
I think it might top
Like
that
this?
actually.
One of my worst ideas ever.
All right. So anyway, they have me down here for tonight as the main topic.
Well, do we
wait,
wanna,
wait,
hey,
wait.
hang on.
Oh, we're missing something. Oh,
And
yeah.
now, we don't want you to get the shaft, so here's just the tip from Stubby.
Okay. So unsolicited answers to Reddit questions.
Internet.
Oh, internet questions.
And
So normally
and
this
actually
is
it's
this
just
is
the
some,
tip. It's
normally this is some sort of brewing tip, but in this case we are actually just going to tease you
Yeah, we're not going to give
and leave you unsatisfied.
We're just going to leave.
Tease you with just the tip.
Yes.
It is
So-
Friday
That's
night.
pretty
Normally I do some
apropos.
teasing and someone's left unsatisfied. So
Man.
and usually it's Brandon.
So anyway, we went. I just got back from Hop Harvest at in Germany. So we went to Hallertau, Tettnang, and Spalt. So it was really interesting we actually went and talked to actual, went to the actual farms of the farmers that grow the hops there, and it was a real awesome experience because we really got to know these people on a personal basis, and they were extremely, I guess, friendly and really helped us out and talked to us and were very hospitable. I was trying to think of the word. I was thinking of it in German, but I couldn't think of what it was in English.
I think it's hospital. I think that's how you say it in German.
Yeah, Stubby was
I think it's,
messaging us.
Hopsenwelcome, I think is the word.
Yeah.
He was mixing in German and his English as he was sending us messages. When we're like, what? What the hell's going on, man?
Gastfreundschaft. That's hotspot.
I like
Something with the shaft in it.
Yeah, you got the shaft is what it sounded like to me.
Wow.
Yeah, he rode a Zeppelin. We saw that, but he
So,
does have a lot of great footage.
We're not going to go into
on
this
his,
in depth right now. We are just giving you
because-
just a tip because there are going to be some videos.
Yeah, I
that we're
want
gonna-
to be able to really
tease
break
us.
it down and show you the difference between the Tettnang region, the Hallertau region, how they grow their hops differently.
See, it's him. It's not me.
Mikey's the one eating on
Pizza.
the mic right now.
It's smacking. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit. We also went and visited Hull, the research facility there, and they showed us how that they it's a really interesting process that they do in Germany. Is they grow these hops for 10 years before they actually release it to allow the hop growers to grow it.
Wow.
And you guys have all heard of Huell Melon, right?
Yeah.
That was developed at this facility, along with all the other flavor hops that are really popular. The Hallertau Blanc,
I love those Hallertau Blanc.
and
Yeah, no
the
shit.
Calista Ariana.
Is that how you pronounce it, Stubby? Is it
What's
Huell?
that? Ariana Grande?
Is it Huell and
It's
not Hull?
Huell.
Huell, not
Huell,
Hull?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
But they are the best I can pronounce it. I try real hard, but it was just like so that like where we went, where IREX is at, us in America would say Klumbacher, right? And I'd try to say it the way they say it, and they say Klumbacher, but and they would say what?
Do they like laugh at you and make fun of you when you try to speak like that?
No, not really.
Because that's what my wife's family in Brazil does. When I try to
speak Spanish.
they laugh at me and make fun of me. And I'm like, you guys are assholes.
That sucks. That just sucks. doesn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that here?
Well.
Someone from Brazil comes up to visit
trying
you,
so hard.
and then you just openly mock them, and like a group of people laughs at you. I'm like, you guys are dicks.
It's like, no, man, it's Lordy Lou, all right? Lordy Lou.
Let's say I do know last week when Stubby got back from IREX, he corrected all of us in the shop that we were pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah,
Well, it's not
it's-
IREX.
It's Irix, right?
IREX.
Irix.
Yeah. So I mean, I even got that.
And then
with
he
Sewell.
promptly returned to pronouncing it Irix.
Exactly so.
Yeah.
The German has worn, the trip has worn
Right.
off.
Yeah. It's so strange because I felt so in where we were at in the really southern Bavaria area where a lot of the hop farms are. Man, some of these guys didn't speak a lick of English, so it was like a fast track on getting back into German mode, which I struggled quite a bit. And between me and the other guy I was with, we managed to get by. So, and they could speak some broken English too. So,
And then you toured a bunch of malting facilities, and
Yeah,
there's some
so-
pictures and video on that too.
yeah.
right?
Well, actually, we don't have any pictures or video of the actual malting facility itself. I am working on some B-roll though.
There's a
because-
great picture of Stubby standing outside in front of IREX.
Yeah,
That-
there
that he
is.
I
sent
thought
all
I
of us.
saw some
You
pictures.
mean
inside.
Irix?
Yeah, IREX.
No, it was just me standing in front of it.
Oh,
Okay,
I
cool.
swear I remember seeing malt.
Yeah, and the reason being is because they're really
It's all proprietary.
well, man. I'm telling you, I'm hoping I can get some of the footage. Just the generic footage that they have that they allow people to see or whatever, like advertisement type. I want to try to get some of that footage because, and this is not a knock on Environment, but this is huge. It's massive. I've been through the Environment facility, and but this place, man, it's all robotic. I mean, you just got like robots roaming around and
Malt
doing
robots.
stuff, and
Kraftwerk is playing over the
there's
stereo.
Drinking beer.
this one part, this
Beer
one.
drinking robots.
Yes.
That would be very German.
But no, I mean, like their storage facility. It's 14 stories high, and they have like.
But are they like secretive of all their processes? Is that why you don't have pictures?
Yeah, I
of it
think
here?
I don't know if it's necessarily that. I think they're more the proprietary.
They're all naked in there, huh?
Well,
Naked robots.
Well, if y'all let me finish. Let me finish. Can I finish? Can I finish? Anyway.
That's what she
Man, that just shows how old I am.
If it's
You don't
naked
even remember-
robots,
do you
I'm
even
about
remember
to
what I
Oh, I
finish
know.
them.
Yeah, that's Ross Perot.
Yeah.
Stubby Perot over here.
No, that was
That just shows how
that was
old I
Dana
also
Carvey's
am.
Ross Perot. That's how old it is.
But anyway.
Can he finish? Can he finish?
Okay, I'm finished.
But no, they had like these. It's 14 stories high, and they had all these. So the malt would come down this long conveyor belt, and then this robotic, forklift come and pick it up and put it up in these different rafters. I mean, it's just massive.
Like when you get a Coke at the hospital?
Yeah, but like on bazillion times bigger than that. It's
Well,
pretty-
like Amazon warehouses and that kind of modern warehouses are
it's,
like
it's
that.
pretty freaking impressive. So I mean, but we can talk a little more about it and some of the, one of the things that really struck a chord with me, I guess, when I was in there touring the facility, was when we went through the lab, and this is something that I never.
Were they mixing homebrew?
Well, they did have.
I think it's allowed over there.
They were mixing pharmaceutical testing stuff in with the beer stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
at the brewery, which is crazy.
So, what kind of lab stuff do they do in the malting
Well,
facilities? there?
what's really amazing to me is that I never really thought about what it actually goes into quality control of barley and the potential extract and the potential how much enzymes
They have
are
to
in
give.
it.
They give all that information to professional brewers, right? Protein content and all that
but-
stuff, so that they can make adjustments to.
But they test all of this stuff even before they dump the trucks out, because if it's not good enough, they send them on. They don't take it.
Goes on to Vireman.
Oh, that's rough. No, but they I mean, one of the first things I was impressed with, they had one lady, and she's sitting there with the X-Acto knife, and she's cutting kernels in half of the grain, and then I don't remember what kind of it's some kind of indicator that they put on the grain to see if there's CO2 production, because what that tells the maltster is as how viable the cell is. So if the kernel's still alive, so that tells them.
So they want to see CO2.
Yes, they want to see CO2 because they want to be able to. They know that it's alive, that it's breathing, basically, right?
And that's post malting.
That's pre-malting.
Pre-malting.
Yeah,
See what they want.
You wouldn't want that post malt, would you?
No, but so what they want that for is you want it to make sure that it's viable, that it's going to germinate.
Yeah.
Right. But then they go through all kinds of different processes on the front end, and get this, I never would have expected this. Every batch that comes through there, they do DNA testing on it.
Really?
They do a DNA testing on it.
You get Maury to come out. You're all the father.
Yeah, well, they just want to make sure that it's that there's not any kind of varietals mixed together,
like mutations.
yeah,
Or,
yeah, all kinds of different stuff. So the quality control is pretty impressive. And then even after the fact, they make beer with it and do all kinds of different testing. And like they had this one thing that they had all these different bottles on, and they were rolling them back and forth. Because they were just making sure that they weren't going to have gushers, all kinds of different stuff. It was pretty impressive, though. So
Were robots doing that part too?
yeah, the ones that were rolling the bottles
robots.
back and forth. Yes,
Shady
it was.
mug.
Yeah, but
Sex robots.
no, it was pretty impressive, and one of the
Beer
things
drinking.
that it did confirm for me was that it is an excellent, great quality product. Just from all of the stuff that, and then it kind of, I mean, this is not a knock on the craft maltsters or whatever, but it just makes you think, how are these craft maltsters that are doing, a couple tons at a time, how are they able
they're
to
not.
Yeah,
They're not. It's the
Yeah, it's
you know,
flat out.
it's-
They're not.
It's kind of like when you buy drinkware or something that has imperfections and bubbles or whatever in the glass, and they're not all the same exact shape and size and all that. It's kind of like that's the appeal to it.
Yeah,
Is that it's something unique. It's not the
So
same.
basically, you pay more for something that's shittier.
Well, and I bet that I bet that
Potentially.
Miller and Coors and Bud and all that. That's how they think of craft beer.
Yeah,
You know,
I get it. I
the
get it,
quality control on craft beer compared to what they do at those big breweries is nothing. You know, it's,
Yeah, true.
Inefficiency.
How did what was her name? Meg? How did she say it? A bunch of homebrewers making shit beer in a bathtub or something like
Yeah,
that.
Golden Road. Yeah,
Yeah, from Golden Road, that douchebag. A bag of douche. Meg. The
douche.
I can't remember what her name is.
Smegma?
Gil.
The Meg?
Megma. Yeah.
Yeah,
Smegma.
Just the
Meg,
Megs.
Meg.
Meg.
Screw you, Meg.
Well, there's one person we can scratch off our list for ever having on the
I
show.
wouldn't want her on the damn
She
show.
wouldn't be on here. Screw her.
This message is brought to you by Brandon's grandfather. Because we probably blame everything on that.
Yeah, he's going to be
All
out there telling
All
people.
right.
He's going to be out there telling people to get off his yard again. Anyway,
Well, speaking of you going to Germany, Mikey's about to go to Spain and to Berlin.
going to-
is that right? So
No, I'm going to Dublin and Berlin.
I'm sorry.
I think
Dublin,
it's
Texas.
Dublin, Texas.
No.
Yes, and then Berlin.
He's bringing us back
So,
some Dr. Pepper.
Texas.
So we've got Stubby just got back from Germany. We've got Nigel in the UK right now. Mikey's about to go to Ireland and to Germany. I'll be in France in a couple of weeks for a couple of weeks.
damn,
So
we're just well traveled.
Brandon's
Yeah,
going
so-
to
I was just in Shreveport, and then I went
Brandon's
to
going to
Midland.
Arkansas.
well, all I'm saying to our listeners is that I'm sure that if you hang on with us, we're going to have lots of really cool international stories to
Yeah,
We'll have some
yeah.
beer
tell
stories.
you. And
And actually, November 8th, I'm going to London and then to the Muntins.
I think it's
Malta.
London.
That's when I'll be.
London.
That's
London.
when I'll be
we're
in
bringing
Dublin.
you beer from
London.
around the world, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, so I'm going there, and then the
London.
9th, I'm actually going to be at Muntins facility. And then we're going to go back to Germany, and we're going to go to Brew. So
Well, I didn't want you to one up us all, Stubby, but yeah.
It's easy. He does it all the time.
Way to kill the vibe, bro.
yeah, I know, right?
I may actually leave the house and go to
It's
the
work,
office.
I'm going to go to Paris, Texas.
Right.
They have Campbell's soup there.
I went to Stephenville the other day.
Stephenville.
Steven.
Fun fact about
Stephenville.
Stephenville, in the early 2000s, it was like the STD capital of Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good to know.
It's all them cowgirls, man.
Well, there's nothing to do down there.
When did you
right.
go? When did you go?
I
there?
live
How many
in
beers
Stephenville.
did
I'm
they
from
make out of
Stephenville.
that, by the way?
That was about the time frame.
ST beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
did
you were.
This is a good thing I was always at fucking work.
Did you go to Tarleton?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
Yep.
where all the
That kills
STDs
it.
was.
Yeah,
Where
that's
they
why.
come from?
Yeah, if you've been to Stephenville, there is nothing to do. So
Other
I
than
can't- I can't talk
drink,
too
start
much.
fires, and
Evidently, they have a certain STD at the school I went to. So
Yeah, it's its own.
yeah, it's its own thing. The Raider rash. That's what they call it, or something.
no, that's
It's funny. The first time I went to Stephenville, I didn't know anything about Stephenville. I don't even remember why I was going there, but I was eating lunch at a Subway, and it's this little town in the middle of nowhere in Texas, and I'm like,
It's beautiful.
one
down there,
after
though.
the
medium
other,
town these days.
one after the other, all of these
I need a beer.
hot 20-year-old chicks are walking into this Subway. I mean, I'm like, what kind of weird wormhole did I find out here in the middle of? And then, it's a college town. Okay, I get it. But
Yeah, the college dominates the town.
yeah,
Yeah.
And if you're ever there at the right time of year, they have Larry Joe Taylor cook or whatever it's called, chili cook-off.
well, yeah, there's two of them.
Chili
There's-
cook-off. They have the other one that's a homebrew related wine and beer event that's really good. And that's happened in September. I think that just happened. But during the spring, I think, is when that happens.
April. Yeah.
That is the whole town is just every person you see, every girl you see is dressed about in the least amount of clothing as possible to go out and hang out at that thing.
Jean shorts.
You're in the
a bikini
HEB in the
tank
middle
top.
of town, yeah, and that's what you see on every college girl that's like, what the hell happened?
Oh, well,
what is the deal with this?
It's one of those out at
Make Stephenville great again.
Well, I've been once. I've been once to the LJT festival, and man, it's one of those you wake up drinking, you drink all, and it's one of those I could
LGBTQ.
LBGTQ. Yeah.
Here comes a closet joke.
Thank you,
feel a
Stubby.
closet joke.
I was working on that one. So thank you.
Yeah, it's circling.
It's a Brandon joke.
See, it's one of those I couldn't do the festival anymore because I don't drink big beer, and there's no way I can drink craft for 10 hours a day. I mean, I'd be shit-faced a couple hours in. So,
Well, so is everybody else there.
oh yeah, it's
That's
insane.
what that is. Yeah.
No, we
Now
did
back-
that out
It's right
in,
up the road
Portland.
from where my parents live, and they hate it.
And back to
Oh,
Brandon.
Loud and
mentioned-
annoying, and there's so many police on the highways through that, and it annoys everyone in the area because they all have to
Oh, I
drive
bet.
under the
Like-
speed limit and be cautious because everybody gets pulled over for the slightest
They can't drink and drive during the festival. I mean, it's bullshit.
the slightest anything they'll get pulled over for because they're all looking for it. So
Oh, wow.
it's fun.
There,
Now-
there
yeah.
we went down that rabbit hole.
Hey, back to Brandon. I got to know, were they ordering the 6-inch or 12-inch? Back at the Subway, what were they?
I honestly don't know how to answer that. You've got me at a loss on that one.
Jesus.
Only question.
Oh, we're talking about the Subway again.
Yeah,
okay,
we're-
never mind. Man,
Brandon kept it in the
you
steam
just,
mill there.
man, my mind's not that quick anymore. That was long. I'd already defragged that part of my brain.
moved
man.
Defragged. Wow, that's
Defragged. I know.
That's an old term.
It's a Windows 95 term, isn't it?
Defrag my hard drive.
I just got the new 2 gig model.
Back in the early 2000s already,
Hey, I
where all the STDs were.
Runs it a half gigahertz.
Hey, man, my first computer only had 4 megs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
get that.
well. That's I just saw I saw a thing for a commercial, a cell phone that had 1 trilobyte or what? That's
A terabyte, yeah.
A terabyte.
Yeah, the
there you
new
go.
Note 9 has a terabyte.
That's insane.
Trilobite. Isn't that a dinosaur fish or something, dude?
I think
it is.
I think that's a Star
creature.
Trek thing.
No, it's a tribble. The trouble
So
with tribbles.
what beer
All
do
right.
we have to try from Germany, Stubby?
Okay, so
break?
do we want to take a quick break before
Let's
we
take a
start
break.
drinking?
Yeah,
So
let's do the break.
do
and
we want to
make
do
a
the
long
break
second
and then
half.
you
all
don't
the
wanna tease them
swords
with
and everything
beers?
together?
Yeah, so let's do.
We don't
this.
have a whole lot of those. That's
Let's come back. We'll discuss the style in depth. Or maybe read the BJCP.
How many do we actually have that are matched beers for?
I think we only have 2.
Okay.
I feel like we
But
could
we're
discuss
not
this
even
during the break.
We're not even really sure what if. Yeah, that's true.
I agree.
But anyway,
So, 2 things.
Riveting radio.
Listen to the many colored death melt your face during the break, and when you come back, we're going to have a post break coupon code for you. So
Not a coupon code. I don't have one of those.
it says on.
It's a
You
key
see
phrase.
the big blank area
It
next
says
to
a
it?
key
Yeah.
phrase.
It's the key phrase. Listen in and win key phrase.
The listen and win key phrase.
and on stage left.
We're taking caller 27.
Right now. On the
Right now on stage left.
See Def Leppard and Poison at the Astrodome. All right, so we'll be back in a few minutes. We got good stuff for you. Lots of beer to drink. Lots of stuff to talk about. So come back.
It's just. DDH3.